Well, no, the battle between employers as to how to manage this new work from home trend continues, with Airbnb announcing that all employers can work from anywhere in the world. To break down the varied approaches, Joydeep Hor from People and Culture Strategies joins me here in the studio. Joydeep, welcome back to AusBiz.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Now, contrast what Airbnb is saying to what Tesla is saying at the moment. So polar parts, some people want to have their staff in the office, some will say you can work anywhere. As an employer, how difficult is it to try and manage those expectations?
It's been a really interesting series of developments. Elon Musk sending an email to all Tesla employees, really putting it all on the line and saying you have a job to do, you're meant to do the job at the place of work. A lot of data points in terms of different people around the world and their approaches to work, but making it very clear, unambiguously so, in respect of that organisation and that leader of that organisation, what his expectations are. And you couldn't contrast that more starkly than what's been put out by the Airbnb founder and CEO saying, well, other end of the spectrum, you can work pretty much anywhere within the country where you are living. You can choose your place of work, you can choose to go into your office, you can choose to work from home, and we will make that work depending on your choice. And I think what's interesting about this is that while Elon Musk's note and email was provocative and no doubt and got some interesting responses, and in this era people are pretty shocked and horrified that someone would say that, but there's nothing actually fundamentally inappropriate or wrong with that view being held. In fact, if you look at the legal position in relation to people's contracts, it says that they have to work at a particular place of work. Employers are not looking to change what the contracts are saying or what the contracts are that they've entered into people. It's just that what's happened over the last 2.5 years has given rise to this perception that, well, because I have been working from home, surely I can just continue to do that. And if I can work from home, I can therefore work from anywhere. So why can't I just go and spend the next 6 months in London or wherever it might be and just continue to do my job from there?
The Airbnb model sounds fantastic. It sounds absolutely perfect. I knew myself could be renting out an Airbnb villas on Fiji on the beach or something, having this conversation.
Yeah.
But how feasible is it in practicality in the real world? Because clearly there'll be some challenges, including around technology.
Yeah, I think the important point in all of this is there's realities and there's beliefs. The realities are, what are the operational constraints and circumstances that an organisation or business finds that it has to deal with and grapple with, that place a natural limitation on where people have to work or where people can't work from. And if you're in a customer-facing role, a lot of businesses would say, yeah, you can do customer calls and client visits and virtually, but nothing as good as pressing the flesh and getting to know someone in person and those kinds of things. There are factories and mines and construction sites that cannot be run virtually. So they're all part of the realities. But the beliefs are, what are the views held by the key stakeholders in your organisation? If it's Elon Musk or whoever it might be. If that leader, that CEO or your board have a view about where people should be working, you can't discount the relevance or significance of that just because it's not a reality, because that's the view that organisation holds. So every organisation needs to reconcile what are the realities for its business, but also what are the beliefs of its stakeholders.
To go and avoid messy situations from an employer perspective, let's say you've got employees who do not want to come back to the office full-time or part-time or whatever it is, what advice can you give them from a legal standpoint that they need to know?
So I think they need to be very clear on what's the contractual position, what's the deal that was signed up to by us as an organisation, as the employer, and the deal that was signed up to by that particular employee. Having said that, the world has changed. Rightly or wrongly, people have worked in a particular way for the better part of 2.5 years. They are used to that. They are also seeing and observing what's happening in other organisations. They're reading these same emails that Elon Musk is sending to all of his employees, and they're thinking, well, why can't I get a piece of that action? If employees have that in their heads, an employer can't just disregard that. So the good employers are going to be saying, look, you might be hearing this, you might be seeing this, here are the realities of our business, here are the beliefs, and here's what we think is what good looks like for people who work in our organisation. The key is engagement and alignment. And as much as that might sound like a buzz phrase, the reality is employers and employees at this time have to find ways to align.